It's always fascinating to see how much of an impact Alfred Hitchcock has had on pop culture, so much so that 30 years after his death and 34 years since his last film was released, examples of his influence continue to emerge. They range from the usual cinematic ones when paying homage to a given scene or sequence from one of his films.
Is there a better knife? 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 Knife?
Now, mind you, a knife is a difficult thing to handle. I mean, any knife. You just say knife. Knife.
Knife?
What?
A knife.
And sometimes when a film goes a bit beyond mere homage. Then there's the occasional spoof.
Well, Thorwald is packing a box. What could be in a box that size?
You don't think it's his wife's body, do you?
Well, what else could it be? Cut!
And also the occasional television commercial.
That's not a Volkswagen.
And every so often a Hitchcock reference finds its way into a music video. Now some of you may remember this one from the 1980s.
I'm just a normal guy. My name is Norman Bates.
Still, it's interesting when one of today's most popular artists drops the occasional Hitchcock reference into their work.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Generally, such references are limited to a handful of Hitchcock's iconic works. Psycho, Rear Window, Vertigo, or a signature scene like the crop duster scene from North by Northwest, or the knife scene from Blackmail, which is why it was all the more surprising to me that the video for Lady Gaga's Bad Romance would reference family plot in such a major way. Now, I had known of the Hitchcock references in the song's lyrics just from hearing the song.
Psycho, your vertigo stare. While you in my window, baby, is sick. I want your love.
But when I first saw the video, I was definitely taken by surprise and had to see if anyone else had written about it, and sure enough, a blogger did. Take a listen to the harpsichord in John Williams' score for Family Plot, then listen to the music used at the opening and closing of Lady Gaga's video. Then, of course, there's the similarity of the hidden diamond floating in William Devane's chandelier, mirrored by the floating diamonds that surround Lady Gaga.
I did.
Are you going to tell me where?
You'll have to torture me first.
Oh, I intend to. In a few minutes.
And finally, the clincher, Karen Black in the blonde wig and sunglasses. So kudos to Pret-a-Porter P for catching what most Hitchcock aficionados may have missed. Now, Family Plot is usually dismissed because it's Hitchcock's swan song, and it's not one of his great works, but I think that's also indicative of 1970s cinema. Let's face it, when you've made sometimes 2 pictures a year during the 1940s and 1950s, which defined the high style and sophistication of the era, it's kind of hard to match that quality when you're no longer dealing with Cary Grant and Ingrid Bergman, or Grace Kelly and James Stewart. But following To Catch a Thief and Marnie, Family Plot becomes the final entry in Hitchcock's trilogy about theft and sex.
You know, I have about the same interest in jewelry that I have in politics, horse racing, modern poetry, or women who need weird excitement. None.
When we get home, I'll explain that we had a lover's quarrel, that you ran away, that I went after you and brought you back. You know, that'll please Dad. He admires action. Then I'll explain that we're going to be married before the week is out. Therefore, you should stay on at Wickwin. That I can't bear to have you out of my sight. He also admires wholesome animal lust.
Now, Psycho touches upon theft and sex also, but not in the same way.
Well, I ain't about to kiss off $40,000. I'll get it back, and if any of it's missing, I'll replace it with her fine, soft flesh. I'll track her, never you doubt it.
There's a certain fetishism that exists in these 3 films that Hitchcock enjoyed exploring. They're about one becoming sexually aroused when being close to danger, in this case, in knowing that one is involved with a thief.
I've never caught a jewel thief before. It's stimulating. It's like what it's like.
Like sitting in a hot tub?
Interestingly, in the film's final coda, where Barbara Harris breaks the fourth wall and winks at the audience, this actually finds its origins in William Dieterle's 1932 film Jewel Robbery, which also explores the sex and theft motif, and where at the very end, Kay Francis looks directly into the camera and invites the audience to keep her secret, that she's running off to Nice to meet up with gentleman thief William Powell. Now, Hitchcock liked this idea of Barbara Harris winking at the audience so much that he made it part of the advertising for Family Plot. Until next time, thanks for watching.